Shabbat Shalom, everybody. I'm Rob Lennick, the CEO of the Jewish Federation, and it's a pleasure to once again share a Shabbat message. So I hope you're doing well. As COVID-19 stretches on, and we're anticipating a continuing dramatic increase in its impact in our community, just a reminder for everyone to stay safe and social distance and to wear a mask. I do want to tell you a story, though, just to lighten things up just a little. This guy named Morty, he visits Dr. Saul, the veterinarian, and he says, my dog has a problem. Dr. Saul says, so tell me about the dog and the problem. He says, it's a Jewish dog. His name is Irving, and he can talk, said Morty. He can talk, the doubting doctor responded. Morty points to the dog and says, watch this, and commands, Irving, fetch. Irving the dog begins to walk toward the door, then turns around and says, so why are you talking to me like that? You always order me around like I'm nothing, a schlemiel or something, and you only call me when you want something? And then you make me sleep on the floor with my arthritis. You give me a fakakta food with the salt and the fat. You tell me it's a special diet. It tastes like dreck. You should eat it yourself. And do you ever take me for a decent walk? No, it's in the house, out the house, 1, 2, 3, as if I was a young dog, but I'm not such a young dog. Did you ever hear of something called a prostate? Maybe if I could stretch a little, the sciatica wouldn't kill me so much. I should roll over and play dead for real for all you care, said the dog. Dr. Saul is amazed. This is remarkable, but I don't see any illness. Your dog seems very healthy. What's the problem with your dog? Morty answers. Can't you tell he has a hearing problem? I said fetch, not kvetch. So kvetching? Now this is something we know about. Our Jewish history is rife with kvetching. In fact, from the time of Noah until today, kvetching is a way of life for some. Just remember what it was like for Noah on the ark with all those animals and everything they did and the noise they made. He comes off the ark and he's in a very bad mood. He curses his son Ham. He's just in a very bad way. Because, look, Noah got overwhelmed on that ark, all closed in all the time. And, we can relate to that, being closed in and the impact it can have on our state of mind. So after all that time being cooped up with all those critters, boy, he must have been irritable. So he comes off the ark, and he really was. So with COVID-19, we are facing some of the same things. And let's admit it, the Israelites in the Bible were world-class kvetches. When the Israelites encountered danger or shortages or inconveniences, they complained bitterly and they longed to be back in Egypt. After the exodus from Egypt, some of them were even saying, it'd be better if we had stayed in Egypt and died. At least there we would be near the flesh pots and we'd have plenty of bread to eat. But what'd you do, Moses? You brought us out into the wilderness to kill us with hunger. Another old Jewish behavior, kvetching about food. Nothing new. But the truth is, why do we complain so much? And the fact is, difficult circumstances often lead to stress. And I want to say to everybody, complaining is a normal human response. Dissatisfaction comes up for us when our attention shifts from what we have to what we don't have. And even though Jewish experience tells a long history of kvetching, Jewish tradition speaks of something quite opposite. because in Jewish tradition we learn that the opposite of kvetching is kveling. Kveling. Kveling is to feel joy and pride in the people you love and their accomplishments and in our own accomplishments. And so we have a choice. We can kvetch or we can kvel. So I ask you, what can you do in your life to put a brighter spin on all the things happening around you? What are the positive things going on in your life right now, in spite of everything else, for which you can kvel? So I ask you, for this Shabbat, take the time to do some kveling. In fact, I'm going to suggest that for as long as you can do it, you make a moratorium on kvetching. And once upon a time, I actually made a button that said no kvetching. But more, you can think about your spouse, your kids, your siblings, your partners in life, your associates, the people you work with, and hopefully there's a lot more to kvel about them than to kvetch about them. So for this Shabbat, I'm asserting an 11th commandment: thou shalt not kvetch, thou shalt kvel as often as possible. Shabbat Shalom.